Weeks after 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue was found murdered in a condemned home, the man accused of killing her, Darnell Jones, has not only been extradited, he's now facing death. A grand jury just handed down an indictment so severe, it marks the city's first death penalty case in over a decade. The charges include sexual assault, kidnapping, gross abuse of a corpse, and the most chilling of all, aggravated murder with capital specifications. And just as that news broke, the house where her body was found caught fire. Again. For the third time. Coincidence? In this under investigation update, we're breaking down the new charges, the courtroom developments, what prosecutors say really happened, and why this case may now be headed toward the ultimate sentence. I'm Sleuthy Lucy, and this is Under Investigation, where we highlight active and ongoing cases still developing in the news. Here's what we've uncovered so far. This isn't a retelling of what happened in March. If you're new, go watch that episode first. This episode is an update, focused on what's happened since and what has shocked even seasoned legal observers. Darnell Jones has now been indicted on aggravated murder charges with the death penalty specifications. Prosecutors say he confessed to dragging Kei'Mani to a condemned house and cutting her there. And just days ago, that same house, already the site of unimaginable loss, caught fire for the third time. We're going to walk through what this new indictment means, what the grand jury alleges, and why this case is now on the brink of becoming a historic capital murder trial. But first, let's talk about how Darnell Jones was brought back to Toledo to face the most serious charges of his life. After weeks of recovery in a Columbus hospital, following a confrontation with SWAT officers, Darnell Jones was officially extradited to Lucas County. He appeared before a judge for the first time on April 18, 2025. Darnell was charged with murder, abduction, and felonious assault. Franklin County dropped its own local charges related to the officer-involved shooting to allow this extradition to move forward.
Court's going to set bond on the murder at $2 million, no 10%. It's going to be $1 million on the felonious, $1 million on the abduction, no 10%. No contact with the alleged victim's family, no contact with any minor children. Electronic monitoring on the murder if he posts, and defendants to surrender any passport that he may be in possession of. When would you like to set this?
He has no passport, Judge. April 24th, please. No time waiver.
Again, to April 24th, there's no time waiver. That'll be in courtroom 3 at 9 a.m. Motions to dismiss could be submitted in writing. At that point, it should be Judge Lanzinger on that date. I believe he's in courtroom 3 next week. I've already discussed with him that motions could be filed regarding a motion to dismiss based on the affidavit being defective or not complete. Anything else from either party?
No, thank you, Your Honor. Good. Yeah. Good. Good.
During the bond hearing, prosecutors emphasized the seriousness of the case. The judge responded by setting bond at $4 million with no 10% option, a clear signal of how high the court views the risk and gravity involved. As of April 18th, prosecutors filed a chilling claim in court. Darnell Jones, now in custody, is alleged to have confessed to authorities. That filing marked the first time we heard what investigators say Jones told them in his own words. According to the records, Darnell admitted to dragging Kei'Mani Latigue to the abandoned house on East Miami Street and cutting her with a bladed tool.
This hour of the Toledo man accused of killing his daughter. Darnell Jones, also known as Darnell Ogletree, appeared in a Toledo courtroom for the first time this morning. He's facing charges of murder, abduction, and felonious assault linked to the death of his daughter, 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. Latigue was reported missing and later found dead inside of an abandoned home on Miami Street in Toledo. Judge Nicole Corey set bond at $4 million, no 10% this morning. Jones is scheduled to appear back in court on April 24th for a preliminary hearing. A motive in Kei'Mani's murder has not yet been released.
But that was only the beginning. Just 5 days later, on April the 23rd, a grand jury indictment formally charged him with a long list of serious crimes, backing up those earlier filings with the full weight of the legal system. On April 23rd, just 1 day before his next scheduled hearing, a Lucas County grand jury handed down a sweeping indictment against Darnell Jones. The charges include aggravated murder with death penalty specifications, the dreaded R word, kidnapping, aggravated burglary, endangering children, gross abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence.
Yeah, Jeff, first, this is now a capital murder case. Jones is facing a total of 15 charges, including aggravated murder for the death of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. Now, he also faces charges with kidnapping and tampering with evidence. Toledo police said in a court document that Jones admitted to dragging Kei'Mani Latigue involuntarily to an abandoned home and killing her. Lucas County prosecutor Julia Bates sent us a statement about the indictment. She says, quote, "This case involves one of the most heinous sets of facts I've seen in more than 40 years working in the Lucas County prosecutor's office." She also says, "We will try this case, not in the court of public opinion, but in a courtroom with a professional team defined by compassion, integrity, and commitment to the rule of law." Now, Jones is now eligible for the death penalty, as this is a capital crime. However, we did reach out to Bates regarding if she would seek the death penalty. However, we have not got that answered yet. We'll continue to keep you guys updated.
These are among the most serious charges possible under Ohio law. And now, with the weight of a grand jury behind them, they paint a clear and devastating picture. This case is no longer just tragic. It's officially being treated as capital murder. This is no longer about what might have happened. It's about what the state is now prepared to prove in court. Among the charges, one stands out not only for its legal seriousness, but for its emotional impact on the community. According to the indictment, grand jurors allege that Darnell Jones, quote, did treat a human corpse in a way that would outrage reasonable community sensibilities. That's the language used in Ohio's law for gross abuse of a corpse. It's not just that her life was taken. It's that, after death, her body was allegedly mistreated in a way meant to shock and disturb. And for many in this community, that detail has deepened both the grief and the outrage. This is the first time in more than a decade that Lucas County prosecutors have pursued the death penalty. According to the indictment, these crimes are believed to have occurred between March 17th and March 18th, 2025, the same time frame previously outlined in police filings and in the abduction warrant. The indictment solidifies what had previously been shared in fragments, that this case may now be heading toward the most severe legal outcome possible. This indictment confirms what many feared, that what happened to Kei'Mani was not only brutal, it was intentional. According to prosecutors, Darnell Jones didn't just lose control. They believe he deliberately took her from her home, drove her to a condemned house, and committed unthinkable acts, ending in murder. These new charges deepen the horror of what investigators say they uncovered, and critically, the timeline matters. According to the indictment, these crimes are believed to have occurred between March 17th and March 18th, not the 16th, as so many early reports and social media threads claimed. That mistaken date became one of the most hotly debated points in this case, but court documents, especially the abduction warrant and this grand jury indictment, make it clear Kei'Mani was last seen alive late Monday night, March 17th, and the alleged crimes occurred in the early hours of Tuesday, March 18th. These are not just rumors or assumptions. They're allegations now under oath, backed by what authorities say they can prove in court. This is the formal charging stage under Ohio law. With the death penalty now in play, The stakes could not be higher. The abandoned house on East Miami Street, where Kei'Mani's body was discovered, had been condemned. It had caught fire twice before. But on the morning of Saturday, April 19th, just days before Darnell Jones was indicted, it happened again. A third fire. The blaze began around 7:30 a.m., and due to the unstable structure, fire crews allowed the house to burn while containing the flames from spreading.
My reaction was just like, wow.
Toledo Fire tackled the flames from the outside. Since the home was a code red, crews couldn't attack from the inside. Officials said it was too unstable. Ronche Allison was near the home Saturday morning, caring for the memorial set up in Kei'Mani's honor, when she saw smoke.
The cross and stuff was knocked over, so me and my husband, we picked that up. And like I said, when we came around and I seen smoke, and I was like, wow, something's on fire.
Just hours later, an excavator was brought in to finish what the fire started. The home, now completely demolished. The city of Toledo said it planned to demolish the house at some point, pending the investigation. The home was declared a nuisance just 2 days after Kei'Mani's body was found there.
Mixed feelings, mixed emotions. Happy to see it come down, but also prayerfully that everything that was needed, that was out of there.
In a statement to WTOL 11, the city said in part, quote, per EPA requirements, debris from the demolition will need to remain on the property for several days before it can be removed. We want to assure the community that the memorial items placed in Kei'Mani's honor were not impacted by the fire and will not be impacted by the demolition.
The cause of the fire is suspected to be arson, and the incident is currently under investigation by local authorities. The fire prompted immediate action from the city. Demolition had already been scheduled, but after the flames were extinguished, the timeline accelerated. Crews moved in that same day, clearing what was left of the structure. The lot now sits empty, though debris from the fire remained temporarily due to safety protocols and the intensity of the blaze. The house may be gone, but its memory isn't. It remains a grim reminder of what happened there and of all the unanswered questions that still linger. We still don't have all the answers. We still don't know every detail of what happened in her final hours. We don't know how long she may have suffered, or why someone she trusted turned against her. But we do know this: she mattered, and her story deserves to be told with clarity, not chaos, with facts, not speculation. There's still a long road ahead in this case, possibly a trial, possibly a plea, possibly more delays. But I'll be here, following every step, committed to covering Kei'Mani's story with the care and depth it deserves, and will let the truth lead wherever it ends up. As new developments unfold, including today's scheduled preliminary hearing, I'll be back with another update. I'm Sleuthy Lucy, and this has been Under Investigation. Until next time, stay safe